6:55. This gentleman represents the 17th District. City of Kenosha, Alderman David Bogdala is here. David, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Lawrence. How are you this very beautiful Thursday morning?
Oh, my God. Have we had a stretch of weather or what? It's been just gorgeous.
This is incredible.
Oh, man. Yeah, feeling good. Terry just won $20.50 in the money wheel. I'm going to be winning $1.5 billion later this week in Powerball, so what could go wrong?
Not much. I wouldn't change a thing if I won that.
I wouldn't get up at 3:30 in the morning anymore. That'd be the one change I'd make. Speaking, David, of change, that's what elections are all about. And we've got one, apparently. Saw a few commercials, heard a few along the way. We've got an election next Tuesday. So let's talk about voting in Kenosha. We got a couple days left for early voting, kind of the ins and outs of all of this.
Yeah, if you haven't been paying attention to the TV, radio, and everything else, we do have an election coming up on Tuesday. But a couple of reminders. One, you do only have 2 more days for in-person early voting. So I've actually posted the dates and times on my Facebook page. But today and tomorrow are the last 2 days, 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. today and 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Friday. That is down at City Hall, so it's really important people get down there and do that if that's something you want to do. Otherwise, obviously, on Election Day, polls open at 7, close at 8. It's also important, actually, I had a town hall meeting last night, and I know sometimes you get some folks who say, well, I only vote in the biggies. Personally, I think all elections are biggies, particularly on the local level. Even I think they're even more important. But sometimes people say, "Well, I haven't voted." But it's important to remember that if you haven't voted since last year, like in the spring elections or even in the one in this past August, you should go and check because there has been redistricting. So you might have different representatives, you may have different things on your ballot. So I've actually also posted the link on my Facebook page to myvote.wisconsin.gov. That will give you the information of your polling location. It'll give you a sample ballot, tell you all the different ins and outs, what you need, for voting. It's really important to have all that information. So if that's something you haven't done, you can go on that website, check it out, and you can get all that information there.
Another thing, too, if you do an absentee ballot, you have to mail it back. You can't drop off the ballot at the polling place on Election Day. I'm thinking maybe there are some people who make that assumption that they can do that, David.
Yeah, that's a good point, Bill. There was a recent court ruling that did not allow drop boxes anymore. So there are no more drop boxes. So if you were used to doing that, in the last, really since, the pandemic, that is no longer available. You must drop it off at City Hall in person. And again, I can't drop off Bill Lawrence's. He can't drop off mine. It's got to be your own ballot that you dropped off. So that's really important piece to remember. Or obviously you can mail it in, but it has to be received by Election Day. Later, by 5 o'clock that day.
Yeah, best bet is to, if you do have that ballot, fill it out, get it in the mailbox today, give yourself a little cushion. Don't wait till the last minute, or your vote might not get there in time.
Yeah, that's exactly it. We want to make sure everybody has an opportunity to vote. And, here in Wisconsin, I think we take a lot of pride in that. So get it in, drop it off at City Hall, go in person the next 2 days, today and tomorrow, or obviously you have Election Day. But also make sure that you have the right polling location, because some of those have changed as well since, perhaps last election last year. If you voted this year in the spring and in August, it's going to be the same place and same information. But if you haven't voted since then, you got to make sure and take a look at that, because it could have changed, and you don't want to show up to the wrong place.
Yeah, you want to make sure your vote is counted and on Election Day. If you don't do the absentee or early voting, get out there and vote. He represents the 17th District. City of Kenosha, David Bogdala, a no-no in the World Series last night. Well, come February, I'll be saying yes, yes, and I'll be saying those words again.
Go Cubs, go.